Hi everyone, this is DearMamaSal and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time to cook up a storm, and that's really what I'm going to be doing tonight. And the reason for that is, for those of you who've been following weather forecast here in southern British Columbia, we had that huge storm that flooded areas that had never been flooded in my 30 years of living here in Canada. And then I just heard that this week, we're having three more of those huge storms come in. We had one yesterday, and you can imagine another huge storm on top of the land that is already saturated is not good news. And now we got two more coming. So I thought I would cook up a storm ready for the storm. Lots of meal prepping. So hi to Iz and to Jeannie and anybody else who's watching in the background. Always a pleasure to see you. And I wanted to just let you know that I thought for a change that we would concentrate on adding baked beans to our diet. And the reason for that is because baked beans are really good for us in lots of ways. Now, unfortunately, because I live in Canada, I have a particular love for baked beans in maple syrup, which we know adds lots of the not so good stuff to it. But like anything else, as Jody so correctly taught me many years ago, it feels like many years ago anyway, what she taught me was everything is okay in moderation. And so that is the essence of what I want to do tonight, is to talk about, what is a good portion, and, one that you can have without feeling guilty. So first of all, I'd like to thank Jeannie, because Jeannie sent me some baked beans all the way from Maine, and I'm going to cover up the name of them so that I'm not accused of doing a promo here. But I really wanted to thank you, Jeannie. I've been looking forward to using these, and tonight is the night. Obviously, it's a good day. But also, I managed to score on my grocery the other day a complete flat of baked beans for an absolutely giveaway price. And so I don't know about the rest of you, but baked beans are a really good thing to have in your pantry because they're a protein. There's good fiber in it. They're all the good things that you want. And also, if you've got the one with maple syrup, it has an awful lot of taste added to it as well. However, remember, and I always want to start with this, because it's in a can, we know it's got high sodium. So again, it's not that you can't have it. Just, be careful if you've got heart condition. Just be careful how often you have it. But before I go into the cooking, I just wanted to let the regular viewers know I got an update from Erin today, and she asked me to share it with you. So she's going into the surgery on December the 1st, and she said, I just wanted to let you know, in case I don't make it to the broadcast, my kidney stone surgery will be on Wednesday, December the 1st, and she's also getting a new wheelchair, and she's ordered it. She couldn't get it in pink. Pink is her color. So she's getting it in purple, which I thought was fun. However, what she added to the information that I didn't know before is that apparently her one hip has been all but dislocated for quite some time. And unfortunately, because of that, they said they can't fix it. And they have to be really careful when they do the surgery that they don't mess that hip joint up any more than it's already a mess. So this is not a fun time for her, but she assures me that she will keep in touch and let us know how she's doing. So that's a good one. And happy Thanksgiving, obviously, for everybody in the States. I'm sure that you're having a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. And for those of us in Canada, we're a month away from ours. We had ours some time ago. Now, I've got all sorts of different things that I'm looking at here because I'm trying something new. I've actually got one laptop in front of me here. You can just see the corner of it there, so that I can see the comments while I am cooking, which normally I can't, because I don't remember to look up here. So here I'm going to be able to see that. So this is very exciting. Jody, good to see you back, and thank you. We missed you at lunchtime today, but I wanted to make sure you know that you are always more important than a broadcast to me. But it's never the same. Just an update very quickly. I heard from Kimmy at lunchtime as well, for those of you who weren't here. Kimmy went to the cardiologist, and she's going to be having a pacemaker put in December. And what have we got coming up? We've got Pat's birthday coming up on December the 2nd. So there we go. And of course, we had Trina's 50th during the week. So congratulations again. My thanks to Pat. Why does that always happen while I'm doing a broadcast? I know I should turn it off, but I never do I? Maybe if I turn the sound down on it, and then I'll forget to put it back again, won't I? Duh. I always get challenged with this thing. Hang on a second. I think I've got to turn it on to be able to do that. Okay, there we go. Okay, I don't want Bixby. I want the. No, go away. I'm definitely. There we go. Well, let's turn that right off. There we go. All right, so I'm very excited about what we're going to do today. I'm trying all sorts of new things to see if it works. The first thing I wanted to let you know is baked beans. Let's see how many different ideas you can come up with. If you needed to cook with baked beans this week, let's think, how many different meals could we do? And as you call them, I'm going to cross them off my list, and we'll see what we're left with. So, I thought of quite a few, actually. And I'm going to start it off, obviously, as somebody with a British background. Baked beans on toast for breakfast is something I really love, or any other time of the day. So baked beans on toast is one. Let's see how many more we can come up with. Right, Jody's going beans and hot dogs. Why not? Beans on hot dogs, yes, absolutely. Good. Anybody else got any? Hi there, Sandy. Good to see you. All right, let me add another one. I was thinking, what about tortillas with, or toast, with beans in them? Yum. Anybody got any others? What could you do with baked beans? Oh, Jeannie's saying beans and Frank's, beans and little smokies. Yes, so obviously beans with some sort of sausage or something. Beans with chili. Yes, very good idea. Or chili using the beans. Barbecued beans. Yes. Good. Anything else that you can think of? I was thinking, how about ham and bean stew? Not stew, soup, for those of you who like winter soups. And you've probably, for those of you who might have some ham left over from your Thanksgiving dinner. What about beans on your nachos? When you're making nachos, and add some baked beans in there for taste. How about using baked beans as the base for a sauce? Can you imagine that? Using beans with turkey. Yes. We're going to be doing beans with chicken today, just so that you can. I just happen to have chicken, not turkey at the moment. What about dips? Think about dips that you could make, like a bean dip or whatever. Very, very healthy. To have that with your carrot sticks and celery sticks and things. Just mush it up into a bean dip. Very tasty. What about lasagna? How about burgers with beans in them? Using it in your burger mix. So if you think about it, there are an awful lot of good ideas. Just refrying bean dip, to me, is just like no-brainer. So now then, here's where it gets interesting. Because you guys are so smart, and you're always teaching me stuff. What do you think is a serving of baked beans? Is it a cup? Is it half a cup? Is it... Okay, I did this because I have to be talking in different things. The 8 ounces, is it 4 ounces? Is it 2.5 ounces? Or is it 2 ounces? Jody is saying that it's half a cup. And how many of you going, if Jody probably is our go-to about anything to do with food because of what she's been through in the last year. So yes, Jody, you are correct that a serving of beans is half a cup, which would be 4 ounces. Very good. And so what I'm going to do is just show you that here is the big can that Jeannie sent me, and this has got 28 ounces in it. So do the math, a lot of servings in here. I think 6 or 7, but even if you made it 5, all right, make sure that you understand the size of what you're doing. So we're going to open it up, and Jody, or any of you who are going to be here while I do this, can you keep reminding me that each meal that we do, we're going to add beans to it in some way? I find that quite fascinating. How many different ways can I use beans? So here we go. And these come, as I said, there we go. Now we've got quite a lot of liquid on the top, which is normal. So I want something to contain that first of all. That will do. Okay, so that's obviously a lot of the good stuff. When I say the good stuff, the sweet stuff and whatever. Yeah, 7 servings, I agree. As I said, it would be, depending on, do I think we will get it exactly right? No. So there we go. I've taken some of the juice off the top. We'll use that later. And now, they taste good. Now, another thing, can you eat beans hot or cold? When they come in a can like this, they're already cooked. So if you are in the middle of a storm and the lights go out and you have nothing else to eat, you understand anything like baked beans in a can is a very good meal to have on hand. The first thing I wanted to do was to do a sheet pan meal. How many of you make those? And, the reason I wanted to try those is because I don't really cook them very much. So I've got my toaster oven going at about 375 at the moment. And I've got a little pan that'll go in my toaster oven. I know, Jody, I was hoping that you would talk me through this in some ways. I wanted to check with you, Jody, what temperature do you do yours at? And what I'm going to do is a chicken. Listen to this. What was it? A chicken, rosemary, lemon, asparagus. Hi, Kaz. Good to see you. You do yours at 350. Okay, I'll turn mine down a bit. All right, so listen to this. It's going to be chicken, lemon, rosemary, potato, and asparagus. Why? Because I'm trying to use up stuff that I've got in my freezer, and I found that I have got some, when I have asparagus, I cut the bottoms off and use them separately. So here are some asparagus bottoms, if you like, that I've got. And I thought we could do that. Now then, the next question is, when you're doing a pan meal, oh, good idea, Jody. All right, I've put it back up. Jody's suggesting keep it at 375 because of the time factor. All right. I'll make sure that we keep things pretty small so that they'll cook quickly. So, Jody, do you pre-cook your chicken when you're doing it, or do you just huck it in and let it cook in the oven? Now, I'm asking you guys to give me your input because different people do things different ways. So the question is, can you do it without, pre-cooking the chicken? Can you just put the raw chicken in if the oven is already properly heated up? What is the answer? Huck it in. Huck it, by the way, for those of you who are new to our broadcast, huck it is a very important term in our language. We don't measure things when we do these experiments, and we have funny words. Huck it in. Right. So first of all, let me wash my hands. Come on. Why does that not want to go? I don't have time to mess around, so I managed to stick it back. Now you will also see, because we're going to be working with different meats, I've written chicken on this mat. By the way, this is my first tip for the day. Because we're going to be working with different meats, I don't want to cross-contaminate. So the chicken I will cut on here, and if I need to cut anything else, I can put another mat on there. And I buy these barbecue mats because they are way cheaper than the silicone baking mats. I got 5 of them for about $7, I think. And they last for the longest time. So the other thing is, when I finished with this, I just put it in the dishwasher. All right, so I don't have to worry about it. When I finish with the chicken, I'll roll this up and put it in the dishwasher. Pretty easy cleanup. And I don't have to worry about sterilizing my cutting board. Another good reason. So here's some chicken that I have defrosted. What I'm going to do is, because I had 2 large pieces stuck together, I decided to defrost them together. And I'm going to use some of it to do the pan fry, but the rest of it I'm going to put in to start cooking, because then I'm going to pre-cook it, cut it up, and then bag it ready for the week or the month, as the case may be. All right, so I'm a great believer in multitasking. As you can see, they're pretty good size pieces. There's a lot of skin on that one that I want to get off. Okay, that's good. Got some skin on this side. It's not too bad. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right. So, again, what is a good portion? Think about that. I'm going to cook 1 chicken breast exactly as it is. I'm going to put that over here, but for this one, I'm going to cut it in strips. Okay, so this one, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to season them all together before I separate them out. And in terms of seasoning, I don't know what you guys do, but I reuse my bags that my fruit comes in from the supermarket. So these bags. So first of all, I'm going to put some olive oil in in a reused honey jar. I'm going to put some herbs in, some chicken herbs. Good. I'm going to put in some paprika. And I'm going to put in some pepper. Okay. Yes, curry powder would be nice, but we used curry powder last week, but it's a good idea, Jeannie. Thank you for mentioning that. All right, so I've got all that in there, and I'm just going to coat this quickly. What I find coating it in a bag is I find you don't use as much oil. I don't know if you guys find that. You sort of can mush it around more easily than if it's in a container of some sort. Okay, that's good. All right, so now I'm going to get that first pan. And I picked some rosemary from my garden, so that's going to go in with it as well. So we'll put the big bits into there. If I can find the big bit, no, small bit. Okay, I'm going to put a bit more oil in the bottom for that. That looks good. And I'm going to put some of the strips in with it, because we will only need, I think, 2 strips will be fine. Yep, there we go. Really important to have a bowl with some water next to you. All right, Jody's saying, I agree about the oil. I have a kitchen spritz bottle that I now use in the kitchen for a fraction of the amount. I agree. My spritz bottle there goes on the blink. So in terms of doing it quickly, I prefer to do it this way for you guys. But I have to admit that I've also got a spritz bottle. Tarragon, Jody, could you make a note for me, please, to get tarragon? Because Iz has mentioned that before, and I keep meaning to get some, and I don't have any. All right, so that's all going to go on and quietly cook while we continue. Do you hope I turned the right one on? Okay. Put a little bit more pepper on it. And I'm also going to put a little bit of French herbs. Right, now we can get on to doing our meal. What did I do with it, people? Okay, here we go. So I'm not even going to cut it up into bits because I think it will cook well enough in the oil that we've got. So that to me is a pretty good portion of chicken. Now, in the old days, I would have the whole breast. Now, to me, that will be plenty of chicken. The other thing that we know is that we need lots of color. And you will see I've got the rainbow here. And what would you like me to add to this? First of all, we need beans, all right? Because that's the whole reason we're doing this. So we're going to add some baked beans. And I'm going to put that at this end. So I reckon that 2 spoons would be a pretty good portion. All right, what would you like with this for red? I've got red peppers would be nice, right? With the chicken. I like that. Or tomatoes, or both. Let's not get funny about this. I don't want to cross-contaminate knives, so I got that knife for the raw chicken and this knife for the vegetables. Now I'm keeping that little bit, and I will show you why. So let's put in some red. Put the red there. Oh, I forgot. I forgot what we were doing, didn't I? We need lemon. We're doing lemon, green going in, asparagus, yum, yellow, some yellow, and we need some potatoes. So I'm going to just, put some more of it. So, by the way, I use my lids to put half cut things on. Very useful. All right, so that's probably more potato than I would normally have, but for the sake of doing it, I'm just going to cut it into small pieces and roll that in the oil. And herbs, it's good. And what I like about doing this is that you can now just literally throw all of that, and you've had 2 uses out of it. All right. Hi there, Autumn. Good to see you. Yes, the red pepper does look nice on there, doesn't it? So I don't want to overload it, but I think we've got quite a good, what the heck, hang on a second. You know me, I like to have the orange in there somewhere, so let's do the orange as well. So we'll put that in between. So, Jody, if you're capable of doing so, could you take a screenshot of it before we cook it? Just so that we remember. Let me know when you've done it. So how easy was that, everybody? And that, quite honestly, looks like enough for 2 meals to me. Thank you, Jody. And what I'm going to do is, before I actually start to cook it, I'm just going to drop a little bit of, I'm a great lover of this Chinese 5 spices. Yeah, I think it looks good too, Sandy. So over the vegetables. we go, just a little sprinkle. I haven't got any onion in there. Why didn't you remind me? Let's put some onion in there. That's purple. So we'll put that in. We'll make it smaller so it doesn't take very long to cook. You might need a second screenshot. Yeah, you get the idea there. I'm just breaking it up so that it won't take as long. So, got it? And you said onions. I apologize. Oh, you're right. Onion and red green peppers. Yes. Don't have green with me this week, but so how easy was that? Jody, how long would you cook it for? It's gone in at 375. I've tried to make the portions fairly small. So, except for the chicken itself. But that shouldn't take too long. It does look amazing, doesn't it? Now, what I wanted you to see, though, was how simple that was. All right, so there's one meal, or two probably. Let's put these away. So, oh, I forgot the rosemary. How come you didn't remind me? Wait up, people, wait up, wait up. Wait a minute, it's going to look even better. Jody, we definitely will need a second screenshot. Okay, so we've got a fork to make it easy, and then just, oh, this is actually not. I just got this from the garden, so there we go. Oh, it smells so good, everybody. It really does. Okay. Yum. Did I forget anything else? I hope not. So, Jody, how much time? 35 to 40 minutes. Okay. Anybody going to be timer for us? Actually, I've got a timer on here, and it's on 40 at the moment. So, good. In the meantime, let me turn over those chicken breasts. You know what I'm looking for, right? And I'm going to add a bit of lemon and some soy sauce in there. So lemon juice here, soy is over here. Not too much, just enough to give it a taste. Yum. Right, here we go. Thanks, Jenny, for that information. So, it's already cut into strips. It's not like it's a chicken breast, so we should be good for about 35 minutes, I think. What would you like to do next? I was thinking of doing, a chili maybe? Shall we do a chili or shall we do a chow mein for a change? What would you like to see next? The other thing that I was going to do possibly was a stir fry. I've got stir fry beef ready to go and be cooked, and I've also got some ground hamburger. So we can make hamburgers, or we can make a chili, yeah. So anybody here that's good at making chili? I probably won't have all the ingredients you use, but we can do our best. So let's think about this. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to do them in pans just so that it makes it easy. Now, again, chili is cool. Yes, I haven't had chili for a long time. Now, remember that I can't add garlic and stuff into my food, for those of you who are wondering why I didn't add garlic to the chicken. So let me think. We want to use baked beans, but I'm thinking let's use baked beans are part of chili, right? So we can keep them as they are. So we can have, okay, yeah. So for our chili, we're going to have 2 helpings, 2 spoons of that. And we're going to need some ground beef. What else would you add into your chili? Definitely, I think some onion, very finely chopped, because we don't want it to take long. Okay, it's easy. All right, anything else you'd like to see there? Okay, I could do it that way. I'm going to cook the hamburger separately anyway, and I'll add a bit more onion to it. I'm just trying to find out for the main saucy area, what else? Some tomato. Okay, that's a good idea. That's red. We like that. Okay, so we've got red, we've got purple, red, brown. Some carrot maybe. Peppers. Okay, yellow. Oh, we can, because it's going to be in the chili, we can use this little bit. Okay, peppers. Done. Okay. Carrot sweetens it. We've got maple syrup in there, but carrots we've got. Put some carrot in there. I love cooking with you guys, giving me what to hack into things, because it makes it, every time it's an experiment. And if it doesn't work, I can blame you. That will take a little longer to cook. No, maybe not. Okay. There we go. Right, what else should we have? I can't, Kels is saying pepper, I can't put garlic in because I'm allergic. Corn. Corn? We use the corn for something else. Mushrooms. I got mushrooms, Kev. Thank you. By the way, I buy dehydrated mushrooms or I dehydrate my own. So, put some mushroom in there. Good idea, Kez. I like that. Give it a different taste. You guys don't mind that I play with food, right? I need some heat. Right, we've got a number of ways to put heat in. I can't take too much heat, but I'm going to put a little bit of hot sauce. There we go. Good idea. paprika. Got that. Or I got chili powder as well, but we've already got hot sauce. Do I need more hot? Would you prefer chili powder or paprika? I have both, Kath. Somebody? Dum 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 dum. Somebody tell me paprika is okay. Here we go. Some paprika in there. Good. Anything else? I think I'm looking pretty good. So we mush that around. I'm going to let that start to cook while I cook the ground beef separately, because this has got some juices in it, and I don't want to cook this too high. I think our chicken is done. Let's check first of all. Yes, it. We're good. Okay, so the chicken is done. Like such fun. Thank you for looking after me, Jody. I appreciate that. Now, this is just so that you know how I work when I'm doing this meal prepping. I've got the chicken. I'm going to let that cool, but you see how much juice I've got here. I will keep that and make sauces and gravies from it. All right? Don't throw it away. It's very useful. Okay, that's chicken. Yum. And this is our chicken, Judy. And good. Excellent. We need this to turn on. We're going to put that on low. And in the meantime, we're going to cook up some ground beef. So let's turn that on. This one low. This one higher. Now again, I'm going to multitask, all right? So here I've got about a pound of ground beef, and I'm going to cook it all up, but I'm going to double the size by putting in the equal amount of vegetable and let it all cook together. You know I do that. And then I divide it up into portions. So let's put the ground beef in. And let that cook. Now, here's another trick I really recommend. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but I like to cut up my vegetables into small bits. And then every day, I try to take at least one good handful of this mix. This has got, I did cabbage, celery, peppers, 2 lots of peppers in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend them all in some water. Okay. And I'm going to add some onion, some leeks, leeks, trying to use it up for goodness sake, some carrots in there. Let's put in the tomato. That's pretty good, right? So it's got lots of vegetables in it. Be right back. Hi, Nigel. So it's as small as the ground beef now. All right. So when I mix it in, it's not going to show that it's vegetable. It'll just look like it's part of the ground beef. Great way to get kids to eat more vegetables. And I'm a big kid. Okay. And the rest can go in. This is the juice from all the vegetables. What am I going to use it for? soups, gravies, sauces, anything. All right? Don't throw it away. Very useful. Cooking quite nicely at the bottom there, so let's leave that alone. So this is not only going to go into the chili, but then the rest of it will get packaged up into single servings, so that I can keep it in the freezer. I pull out one serving and I can add things to it and have it over noodles or whatever. All right. And that's the way I like to do it. So I'm basically doing one load of cooking that will probably last me the best part of the month in options for chicken and ground beef. So ground beef, if I wanted to later on, I can take that, though it's already pre-cooked, I can take it, add some breadcrumbs and an egg to it and some more bits, bacon probably, and stuff like that, and turn it into burgers for myself. All right. Can you think of anything else I can use it for? Because that's what I do. I just have these baggies, and then what I do is I go, that's the base. Now, what do I want to add to it? All right. So chili obviously is a great one, and I'm looking forward to that. Oops. That is not cooking very well. Okay, let's turn it up a bit. Pretty easy. Now, the last one I thought we would do is a meatballs. Yes, I can make meatballs from it. By the way, I could take a little meatball and stick a little piece of, hang on. Put a little bit of cheese in it and make a protein bite for my snacks. All right, I just cut it into little pieces and stick it into the meatball. Makes very nice protein snack. Good. Meatloaf, tacos, toasted sandwich. Yep, great stuff, Kiz. Thank you. So do you understand why I cook it in bulk just as the base, but I put just about an equal amount of vegetable to meat so that I know I have got my share of vegetables in it when I get it out. Now, if I choose to add more vegetables to it, that's great. But at the, when I cook it, I like it to have enough vegetables in it that I know it's healthy. Does that make sense to anybody? That way I double, if you like, I double my my meat quantity, because the meat is almost 50-50 vegetable and meat, but it looks better, more. Got it. All right. One second, please. before I walk all that all over my kitchen. We're doing well. And now then, the next thing I want to cook is a stir fry. And what I'm going to do is bring not going to fall much more of it. There you go, that's good. Now, one of the nice things I love about those, remember the barbecue mats at the beginning? You see, I even have one on my crepe maker so that I can use it as a, to put a frying pan on if I want to, or I can use it as a, a different cooktop. However, I'm going to do some beef stir fries. So I'm going to start off with a portion. Does that look fair? And I'm going to turn this on just so I can make sure this is cooked. Properly. Put some oil on there. Yeah. And we're going to put some lime. How many of you remember Spike the spinach that we planted in March? Here's one of his leaves. I'm going to put some spinach on there. Remember the bottom of that Savoy cabbage? Guess what? It's growing beautifully. Let's put some cabbage in there. Green. Green onion as well. It's good. You want some regular onion in there. Oh, maybe if I turn it on, it'd be a good idea. What have I got here? Oh, that's also green onion. I'm going to do some regular onion. Looks good. Some red. How about some celery? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the celery leaves. In there. These are the bottoms of the cabbage before I finished it, so I'm going to chop that up and put those in. So we've got, do a color check. We've got red, we've got yellow, yellowish. We've got some orange. I'm going to put in mandarin oranges at the end. All right. Purple, we've got the onion. And, oh, we've got to put some beans in there, people. That was the whole point of doing this. Okay, so I didn't put beans into the ground beef, so I'm going to put that in now. Okay, put a lid on that. Oh, that's cooking nicely. Good. I'm going to put some beans in here. Looking good. That's good. Chili's good. That's looking good. So, hi Lynn, good to see you. We're doing all sorts of, we're cooking up a storm. Here I've got a stir fry on the, I've in the oven, toaster oven here, I've got a chicken sheet pan with rosemary, lemon, and stuff. Very good. The stir fry is really, I don't want to overcook it because I will cook it a little bit more when I do cook it, but I want the meat to be well enough cooked. And the way I can check that is just take one piece out and see how well cooked it is. Yep. And now I'm going to put in the mandarin. And I'm going to drain off the juice. That was the orange. Yum. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is to put it into a container. Oh, I know what I was going to add. I was going to add some bean sprouts to this, because I have some. That also will give me. But they don't need cooking very much at all. And I found, we've got sweetness in there. I don't need this, but I found sugar-free maple syrup. Yum. So that's good. Let's add a bit more fresh green in there in the top. How does that look? Pretty tasty, right? I'm going to add a little bit more. Soy sauce in there, not too much. And we must not forget mint. I've got mint. I'm going to put in some of that special mustard that Jeannie sent. Okay, some mint going in now. Looks great. Looks good enough for me to eat tonight. I thought I was going to be eating the chicken, but this looks so good. I'm going to eat this. Now, how much of this was vegetable? If you think about that. And by the way, Jody, yeah, it's got about 3 more minutes to go, Jody, on the timer. Thank you for reminding me. Everything in its time, right? So by watching these portion controls, you notice how I'm just trying to make sure that I don't take too much of anything. There's a little bit of sweetness, there's a little bit of protein, there's a lot of vegetable. That's the way I keep my blood sugar down. I know it sounds strange, but it works for me anyway. So now I've turned off the heat on this. And what I'm going to do, I buy good quality paper towels, and the reason that I do is for this reason, because when I've finished cooking like this, I will just put used paper towel over it, and some water. And then the heat will make it steam. But the good news is that way it'll clean itself. You know, when I go to clean it off, it's going to be fine. So what did you find the most interesting so far? I'm going to put these away if I can find room, because I want to bring the sheet thing out. This needs to go away. Jenga time, people. I can do this. Good. All right. So this looks really nice. Going to just top it up with. Always keep your celery leaves. Don't throw those away. They're really nice for garnishing. And just to give it a bit more color, I'm just going to add some more tomato on top of it. Judy, if you can, could you take a screenshot of our beef stir fry? Good night, Jeannie. Let me know when you've got it, Jody. Can't smile forever. Thank you. All right, so making you work hard, Jody. But that looks good, doesn't it? So I'm going to put that in to keep warm while we look at the next thing. Cooked. Jody? Isn't that lovely? And so easy to do. And very hot, Jody. Thank you. But isn't that tasty? And that's enough. Quite honestly, I can turn that into 2 meals just by dividing it down the center. So I'm going to leave that to stay warm as well. Put that to keep warm. The other one I'm going to put on top. That was nearly an accident. And it looks great, Jody. And the beans look, you know, like they're really good, well cooked. So, this is mandarin juice. Any idea what I'm going to do with it? All right. I'm going to add that to my smoothies. Why waste it? Especially if I can find a lid. There we go. So that's, you know, go into one of my smoothies this week. This is going to go in with stuff I can add to stews and things. And what I do is I just keep a bag in my freezer, and I keep adding sort of odds and ends from the bottom of, you know, when I'm cooking. And then I grind it up as you saw me do and put it in with ground beef or into stews or whatever. for thickening. So what haven't we got? Oh, little bit of a boo-boo, turned off the wrong one for the chili. It's now smoked chili, but you know it'll be tasty. So that was pretty much, if you think about it, how many meals I did in the space of an hour and a quarter. How many of you are going, that's a time management way to do it? Yeah, Isabel, I will still thoroughly enjoy it, because it's all good juices. I added a little bit of water to it now, and I'll mix it all in, and it'll be really tasty as it is. Right, Kez. Listen to this, people. Kez is saying, not looking at my food cupboards and fridge thinking there's nothing in there to make, but imagine the endless things I can make and trying interesting combinations, all right? Especially if you meal prep. All right, now then, here's the trick, okay? This is the next bit I wanted to show you. And Kez, if you can see that, right? I had all the vegetables here. I could pick and choose, but keep making sure I got all the different colors in there because I know that makes it healthy. Now, hang on a second. I just got to stir this. Good. I bought these little trays, but what I found was that they don't seal well, okay? So you know me, it's like, okay, now what am I going to do? Because I'm not going to waste them. Here's what I found works really well, okay? I've got these snack-sized baggies, right? And what I do is I will now take one serving of chicken or one serving of, when I finish cooking the ground beef, all right, put one serving in and then fill this up with vegetables. Does that make sense to everybody? In baggies, all right? So I know that the meat is sealed and I know that the vegetables are sealed. And then what I do is I just put the lid on top of it and then I write with my chalk pen what the base is. In other words, if it's going to be, this might be chili, right? So I just write that, and so I can put it in the freezer, right? And just see what I've got. And if I want a chili meal, I pull this one out. Does this make sense to everybody? And everything I need is already in there. I can top it up with other things, but basically, or if I want, this could be chicken dinner. Okay? Makes it so easy. And it also, then I can go to my freezer. And for example, you remember that lamb that we cooked? I'm still working my way through that. I'm still working my way through all sorts of things. But I found putting them in single serving size bags really helps. now that it's cooked. All right. So what I will do is when this sheet pan is cool, I will divide it in two and make 2 complete meals out of it. Now, again, think about this. When I go to eat it, can I still add to it? Absolutely. But what I know is if I'm in a hurry, I've got the protein, I've got the vegetables, I've got a complete meal. And it's healthy because it's got all the colors. What do you think? Any ideas? Did any of you go, gosh, I never thought to do that? And by the way, we put baked beans in everything. And baked beans are a really good bang for your buck in this winter time. Yeah, and exactly, Jody. You can build on it, all right? The same thing as I'm busy cooking that ground beef with the vegetables in it and the beans in it, all right? And once it's all those flavors have been permeated through and it's really cooked well, I'll make 1 thing of chili because we've got the base for it, smoked chili. Maybe even a little bit crunchy, smoked chili. But we've got the base for it. And it makes it so easy. You would not have imagined the stir fry. Okay, what was surprising to you? And anybody else, what surprised you? What made you go, gosh, I wouldn't have thought of that? I really want to thank you, Jody, for telling me about the sheet pan thing, because that is so simple to do. When you're, you just, I'm thinking next week, when my new gizmo is here, hopefully. Now, you guys, most of you here weren't here at lunchtime, so let me tell you the horror story. It was time for me. I've got my old toaster oven here, and it's done about 20 years. So it's, I know I want to replace it, but I want to replace it with a combo toaster oven come air fryer. Now, the Halogen, those of you who know I've got Hal on here. He's not going to be retired because I just love the fact I can do a whole roast in here without any problem at all and without firing up a huge oven, right? I love my Hal. So he's staying. But just so you know, it's, not only Happy Thanksgiving, it's also Black Friday. And I know that the price of everything is going to keep escalating. And so what I did, and I was talking about this at lunchtime, and I'd like to talk again about it. I said, what do I need for my kitchen that I'm probably going to have to buy in the next year? And one of them was the toaster oven. So I said, get it this Black Friday before the prices go insane. Because any minute now there's going to be a shortage, and once there's a shortage, the prices, if you want to buy it, you'll have to pay more. So I'm going, okay, I want to get it now. Even though, I've been sort of quietly putting money away, getting ready for it, but now is the time. And I got it earlier in the week because the prices already went down. So it arrived. And I'm glad I didn't have it on video because you guys would have just cried for me. I put it all together, did all the instructions, even read them, which is unusual for me. Really happy with it until I turned it on. When I turned it on, first of all, it set off my smoke alarm, which you all know as somebody who's been through a fire in my house and heard those alarms going off before. This is not good for my peace of mind. So I just about went ballistic trying to stop the smoke alarm. I've got practice in that now. And the other thing was the outside of it was so hot, I could have got a burn. I'm not joking, a serious burn. And, I'm feeling my toaster oven, which has been on at 375. It's warm on the outside, but it's not give you a burn hot. Do you understand the difference? And I couldn't understand. I thought, well, I must have done something wrong. So what I did is I let the toaster oven thing all, calm down. And then I thought, I won't put it up as high. But the whole reason you've got an air fryer is so you can put it up high. But never mind, I won't put it up as high. I had it at 450, I think. I turned it down to 375 to cook something that didn't have a whole lot of fat on it. And guess what? It set the alarm off again. So what do I know? It didn't have a filter. Hal, I have used for how many years? He's touch wood. He has never set off a fire alarm. Why? He's got a filter in it somewhere. And so I went, that's insane. And then the fact that, I could give myself really a serious burn from the outside. I went, this is going back. Hi, Mary. Good to see you. This is going back. And by the way, it went back today. I managed to, how many of you can imagine getting it out of the box was a problem? Getting it into the box was a bigger one. And I do recommend, if you are unpacking any of those sort of big things this season, take pictures as you take it apart and make sure you keep all the wrapping. I don't just mean the cardboard box it came in or the box that it comes in within the cardboard box, but I'm talking every bit of plastic that things were in. Keep it all until you are sure that you like this thing. Don't throw it away. Really good idea. So I've now ordered another one. I have a different sort. I'm a little bit concerned about it after the experience, obviously, that I had. But if it works, you're going to love it. All right. And so it's one of those mini, it's got French doors on it. And I've never had one with French doors. I'm certain it'll be a pain because the doors will shut when I don't want them to, but it's going to look pretty. How many of you know that's half my fun? And my hope is that I'll be able to have it here and cook things and so you can watch it while we're talking. Yeah. Now, I could have done that with this one, but I don't know why I never did. But I didn't. But now I'm thinking it would be a good thing to do. So wish me luck on that one. The other thing that I got, and I wanted to give you guys a heads up as well, is I got myself a smaller computer. I started to think I needed a different computer for the area where I do my die cutting and things like that. But I want to tell you something. It's scary buying a computer today. And the reason is that it's almost like blackmail. They want you to use this browser, not the one that you're used to. And I don't go for that. I don't know about you. It's just like, I don't want to be told which browser to use. Thank you very much indeed. What I've discovered, though, is if you choose the browser that isn't theirs, then they slow the other browser down. And how do I know that? Because I tried both. And one was pretty fast and the other one wasn't. But I will not be beaten. Jody is saying that my new one is going to look very chic. Yeah, with me, how it looks is important to me. It'll need a croissant to bake with those French doors. Good idea, Jody. We will do that. Anyway, so not only was it that, but here's the other thing. I found that the sound level was incredibly low on it. And I'm not going to, I've already talked to the makers of it and said, hey, guys, this is an incredibly low sound on it. And I'm going to not take it back because of it, because I realize I'm losing my hearing anyway. So I'm probably going to need a sound bar and that I can use. So if anybody has got a sound bar that works well with a computer, let me know what you recommend. And I will, knowing that I don't have anything. I don't have an Apple. I have Microsoft stuff. But what a week of excitement and disappointment all at the same time. And the reason I wanted to talk, and I said this at lunchtime today, but the reason I bought a smaller computer was this. Let me ask you, for those of you in the room right now talking to me, How long does your computer stay relevant? When I say relevant, that you feel it's keeping up with the technology of today. Is it 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? What do you reckon? Because it has been my experience that, as soon as you get it out of the door, it's already obsolete. Does that make sense to anybody? It's like, yeah, you're right, Mary. Mary's saying a year. So I thought that this time I would not buy a really expensive one, which I normally do. I thought I'm going to buy a cheap one. Now, let me give you the heads up on that one. I bought a cheap one as in about $500 worth, but then I spent an extra 150 fully covering it for 3 years. Does that make sense to you? So if I drop it, if I, throw it in the bathtub accidentally, do whatever, yeah, I'll be dead. But you know what I mean? That it's covered for 3 years. I'd rather spend the money there. Then the next thing I did was I made sure that I have an external hard drive. Hold on a second. Okay. I've got this is 1 terabyte in here, if you can believe it. Because the new computers, people, heads up on this one, if you get a new one, the new computers have little to no storage on them. Why? They want you up in the cloud. Why? So they can charge you. So they give you a minimal amount in the computer, really a minimal amount, and then they give you so much in the cloud for free, knowing that your pictures alone are going to use that up in no time at all. So I recommend, if you're buying computers, know this to be true and make sure you spend the money. I think I paid about $100 for this. And I can move it from one computer to another. All my DearMamaSal stuff is on here. So if I'm creating in the living room, I take it to that place, or I take it, this moves rather than the computer. Does that make sense? I'm now using my old computers for different things, right? I'm still using them. But what I wanted to do is to have, one in my bedroom that I could, do my air gliding exercises, watching BritBox or whatever. Oh, I got to tell you about that. I've got to tell you about that. I actually did this really smart thing. My sister is obviously British background as well, and she loves all the British programs. And she was busy talking to me about Christmas and this, that, and the other. And then I came up with the brainwave. Hi, Kimmy. I came up with the brainwave. By the way, for those of you who weren't there at lunchtime, Kimmy's now in the room. I want to just mention the fact that if you weren't there at the beginning of the broadcast, that she's going to be having a pacemaker put in next month. So thoughts and prayers go to you. So here was the thing. I said to my sister, I have the ideal Christmas present that you can give me. I would love to have BritBox, because right now it is on Black Friday sale for less than $100 for the year. But here's the deal. I am going to thank you for giving it to me for Christmas, and I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to ask you to do the same on your end. Does that make sense? So my Christmas present to her, she bought it, and I bought her Christmas present to me. And now we've both got BritBox for the year. You see, to me, that's smart. I'm looking at today's shipping prices. I do not send presents to people anymore. Why would I waste $60? And quite honestly, have you noticed that it costs you more to ship it than it does for the present? And that's insane. Why do that? Rather send them the gift certificate so they can buy what they want, and let the people online pay for the shipping. Yeah, really. Be very careful. Kimmy, I really want to thank you because a couple of years ago, you mentioned before you buy anything online, double check the shipping costs before you hit the send button. And I want to tell you that I have done that so many times where I was about to say, okay, fine, go ahead. And then I looked at the shipping cost and I went, no way. What brought the shipping cost up that high? And then I'll go back and look at it and it's one item. And then I will just delete that item. Jody is saying, I mailed a medium-sized box weighed under 5 pounds, $48 to send it to California. Yep. Hi, Sharon. Please don't do that, people. And the chances are, I mean, I said this as well to Jeannie, because Jeannie is always sending me these fun things from Maine. And it's just like, really, please don't do that, right? And she sends heavy things, like cans of baked beans. Now, I know they're gorgeous and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy them, but you understand this is like, you pay a fortune just to mail them, especially if it, she doesn't send just baked beans. She sent, if you remember, she sent baked beans and she sent me mustards and all sorts of things. So all very heavy stuff, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But think about it, all right? You cannot afford the shipping prices this year. And do you have any guarantee that they're going to get there on time? Again, how many of you have already sent your international and, I've already sent my international and my U.S. Christmas cards. They've in the mail. The U.S. ones went in the mail today. Why? I know everything is going to be slow. I had my international ones in the mail by the mid-November. I reckon if they get there at the beginning of December, it'll be a miracle, but I'd rather that they did, and they won't. They will take at least, 4 weeks minimum, and I allowed 6. Makes sense. It was just like, I know this is going to be a horrific year for anything getting anywhere. So I'm hoping that you've done that. If you remember, the reason I'm doing this pre-prepping is because I am pretty, aware that we've got 2 more really big storms coming in and we will lose power again. And so what I want is meals that are already cooked, because how many of you know eating that cold will still be very delicious? I will just put a really nice sweet and sour sauce over the top and it'll be really delicious. Right? Sharon saying, did you all see where the you all where the FedEx person dumped 400 packages down a hill? No. Or how about the container ship that tipped over and above what's already a problem? It's just like, be very patient this year with people. If you get cards late or if you get presents late, make sure that you really thank the people for doing it anyway. All right. I really would say that. Now then, I wanted to show you on this how I am going to bag it up. This is actually a complete meal, agreed? So what I'm going to do is just halve everything. And I'm going to start. I'm just going to, can you see this? No. Okay, hold on, people. Okay, so I'm just cutting this in half, so I know. And then what I'm going to do is keep it in the order that we cooked it. So we've got baked beans at the bottom, and then we'll do the potatoes. Then we'll do the yellow stuff. Oh, not a potato. Then the asparagus. Red. And then what I'm going to do is cut up the chicken into bite-sized pieces. I'm leaving the lemon on it because when I warm it up, the steam will then release more of that lemon. I was pretty good guess, Sal. Can you see that that is a complete meal? You right? And that is how I control my blood sugar. I don't go for seconds when I pull one of these out, right? Now, one more trick that I wanted to teach you all. Over here, I don't know if you can see, but I have got one jar with rice in it, one jar with some macaroni in it, one jar with spaghetti, one jar with chow mein noodles. Now, here's what I do. 1/3 of a cup of whatever it is. And what I will do after the broadcast is I will then fill these jars up with water, to the bottom of the rim here, all of them. And I will just have them in my toaster oven for about an hour. And they will all cook. And I will have all my pasta for the week. All right? No more than, it'll actually end up being about half a cup when it's cooked. Okay? Now then, I get to choose how I eat it. For example, I might say I don't want to cook these. I'd rather have them as bitey bits, crunchy bits on my salads. Right? That's my choice. And I might well do that. But I allow myself 1/3 of a cup of that. This, that we've got the ground beef ready to make a very nice spaghetti bolognese one day. Okay. Macaroni and chicken with a cream sauce would be wonderful. Alfredo, for those of you who can have it. And here is 1/3 of a cup of rice. But you understand, literally I just put the lid on. I don't put the screw bit on. I just put the lid on like this, and I put them in the oven at about 350. Actually, less than that. I do it at about 250 for an hour, and it cooks them. Right? And all the moisture is kept inside. It doesn't evaporate because you got the lid on it. Anybody else do that? By the way, if I take this out of the freezer and I want to cook it, I loosen the lid on it or take the lid off and it will have sealed. But what I then do is I just put the whole of this into my toaster oven and I warm it up. That's my plate right there. When it's cooked, I will take the lid off it. I will add more soy sauce or whatever. And that's what I wash up. Simple. Portion control. I use far less stuff in my dishwasher, and it really, really works. I recommend. By the way, I'm keeping more mason jars in my fridge now of different sizes. All right, I've got this size, which is half a cup. I've got this size, which is about 3/4 of a cup. I've got this size, which is a cup. And then this one, which is about 1.5 cups. And I want to tell you that they're much easier to put in the dishwasher than plastic. They don't hold, when you have stuff in plastic, it stains. Glass doesn't. I also would recommend, if you have had anything in a jar that's had jam in it, that jar is heat proof. All right. This isn't one, but what I'm saying is think about that. And so, it's a good thing to think about. We've done quite a bit here. What was your favorite? Before I go, what was your favorite today? And do you agree that having baked beans in your pantry is a really good thing? And you don't have to worry about opening up a bigger can. Buy the bigger can. That's the other thing I wanted to tell you, is that this can was that much smaller than the other one. This can cost me nearly the same price as the bigger one. Well, the bigger one I didn't pay for because Jeannie sent it to me. But you understand, if I bought the bigger can, wherever possible, buy the bigger amount and either cook it up as I'm doing or put it in baggies and freeze the beans. Yep, just immediately just put the beans into baggies and put it in your freezer. And you make sure, I have a list on the side here, you can't see it, but it's telling me to use up leeks and baked beans right this week. And I've used the baked beans, so now I'll be doing leek soup and adding more leeks into things because I've got more than enough leeks in my freezer. I hope I'm making sense here. It's cook what you've got. I've got a freezer full of vegetables. So I'm going to be doing a lot more using up those vegetables as we go more into winter. All right, I have to say that the sheet pan, Jody, thank you very much for that. I'm really looking forward to eating that. I obviously will spend the rest of the evening tidying up and cleaning up and making the chili. All right, just finishing up the chili because I wanted the ground beef to really get all those flavors from the vegetables permeating. It'll probably stay there for quite a while. I'll season it a little bit just so that it's ready. But then I will make the chili out of it, the smoked chili. I bet you it's still great. And, if I shared it, people go, gosh, how did you get that smoked taste to it? Try cooking online and turning off the wrong one. All right, everybody. So I'm going to, by the way, I know Jody knows this, but for the rest of you, I know that my whole kitchen looks like a nightmare now. All right. How many of you are going, I wouldn't want to clean that up? Would any of you like to know how I do it? How I clean up on a Friday night? I have a system, of course. So here's what I do. I start over here that you cannot see. I've got a big double freezer that you can't see. And then my countertop starts at about here and then goes all the way down and then into that corner. I start at the left-hand side and I just, first of all, I turn on something I want to binge watch, right? That I got, lots of seasons to it. And what I do is I literally start at the cleanest, for example, can you see my Ninja? Don't know if you can see my Ninja. You see that it's here, okay? So the ninja is where I start, and then I systematically work my way around. So I go and watch some stuff, and then when it's sort of time for a break, I get up. And when I get up, I do the next little section. All right. So the first time I will probably do that stuff in that corner that you can just see, not much of it, but you can see there. The first time I get up, I'll probably clean all of that up completely. And I move everything that needs to go into the dishwasher, keep moving it right. All right. And then with this is normally the last thing I clean up, but a lot of this will go back into the fridge. And that will probably happen pretty soon because, I don't want it sitting out all the time. And a lot of it is stuff that needs to go back into cupboards and stuff. Makes sense? So what I find is I just keep doing that. I go and watch for a little while, maybe half an hour, and then I take a break and I come and clean up for another 10 minutes. And then I go, okay, that's enough. And then I go back and watch for another half an hour, and I get up and I clean up for another 10 minutes. And quite honestly, by the time it gets to bedtime, my kitchen is normally tidy. And what I also do is another trick how many of you have got dishwashers? I know Jody doesn't, but for those of you who do, where's my dishwasher? It is there. Okay. I found a new trick. I don't know why I never thought of this years ago, but I didn't. What I do is I load my dishwasher early, as much as possible, and then I set it on a 6-hour delay. Depending on what time I get it pretty well done, either a 4 or 6-hour delay. I've got a delay button on mine. Now, you ask me, why do I do that? Because I know it's ready to go. But how many times have you loaded up your dishwasher and set it going, and then suddenly you've got more stuff you need to put in it? I found that when you've got the delay, you can keep opening it, add more things to it, and close it. It's still timing the delay. It's just like, oh yeah, that works for me. I am amazed how many extra things I put in before that thing starts to run. And that way I also find it's much more full when it runs. Just a thought. You might want to try that if you haven't already. So there we go. I think we got all the ideas, things we can do with baked beans. We could put them in omelets, for example. There's one I didn't think of at the time. So many things to do with them. And have you ever met any kids that don't like baked beans? Especially maple ones. I grew up eating them, didn't you? And there was a reason why we did. Right? It was a good reason why we did. I'm more and more realizing that those things that we ate growing up, there was a good reason why we ate them. They were easy to get, stored a long time, and healthy for us. This is DearMamaSal saying, thank you so much for joining me. I had a blast doing this one. I literally thought, I need to use up baked beans. And that sent me on a mission on how many things could I cook with it? How many things did I want to cook with it? And then I had, can I at the same time be cooking the ground beef? Right? And so you understand, I've actually done more meal prepping than you can imagine. Now that will take time to put all the ground beef into bags and have them ready to go into the freezer. But it doesn't have to go into the freezer tonight, right? I can just bag it up and put it in the fridge and then, sort it out in the freezer tomorrow. Make sense? This is DearMamaSal saying, thank you so much for being here with me, and look after one another. For those of you going to hospital, thoughts and prayers are with you and will continue to be with you until we hear that you are safe and well and you make it out the other side. We'll see you on Sunday, where we'll talk about coping with stress, which we've had more than our fair share of. And wish me luck. We have 2 more of those big storms coming in, 2 more this week. We had one yesterday, another one, and we got 2 more on the way. Yikes. I got some things done between the two broadcasts today that I was not going to be able to do for the rest of the week. So there we go. And for those of you who missed it at lunchtime, Benji's coming up to visit me on Monday, as far as I know. And if you haven't heard, please be aware that there is now yet another very virulent strain of COVID that is in Southern Africa at the moment. And if it's in Southern Africa, you know people have flown with it, and you know it's going to be around the world in no time at all. Be very careful, people. Very careful. Keep your masks on. If you can get vaccinated, they don't even know if the vaccines that we have will help us at all with this thing. We'll find out. And just don't let up your guard. Please be very, very safe. And this Christmas, be careful who you invite into your home in a confined space with air conditioning, not with heating going around. That's a place for viruses to well, yeah, anyway, you know what I'm saying. Be very, very careful, please. We'd like to have you around for quite a few years yet. This is DearMamaSal saying bye-bye for now. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Jody.